All right, we're live.
Word. Do you know who's praying?
I don't remember. Trying to think. I'm good either way.
Do you have a spiritual thought? I don't really,
Yeah,
but I just looked something up. But either way,
yeah, I think I'm good with that.
so I'll pray then.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Our Father in heaven, we're grateful for this day, for the opportunity that we have to come together to study and to discuss and to reflect on the work that we've done this week, and ask that we might be guided and directed in understanding and um, better applying the knowledge that has been gained through this to our lives and to our careers, and that we might have clarity in knowing how to or what we need to learn and retain. We're grateful for the opportunity we have to be in school and for BYU and BYU Idaho, and for the opportunity that we have to further our education. And we're grateful for the atonement and for um, the gospel. Would ask that we might be guided and directed this day and be free of contention, and um, going forward know how we can best serve the Father. We're grateful for all that we have, and say this in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Um, Something that was kind of on my mind is like last weekend when we were driving to Cedar, and it was like a 7 hour drive, and so it's like super long. The kids don't love being in the car, and it's just like that old scene from the movie where the dad's like, "I'll turn this car around right now," and it was kind of I noticed I was getting really, really super frustrated the whole drive there. I was kind of ornery, in a bad mood, and it was funny because we went to my family's cabin, just had a great weekend, a lot of fun, and I was thinking about this on the way back home, where it was something that like the journey to get there was so frustrating, but once we were there, it was like amazing and it was awesome, and it was we had great memories, and I think that's just kind of what this life's about. Is sometimes the journey to get um, to our heavenly Father is just going to be frustrating, might be a
Hmm.
little annoying, but once we're there, everything's just going to be worth it. Like, and you we'll all understand that, and we'll all know that.
Yeah,
So that was just something I kind of was thinking about. I don't know if that's like a super spiritual thought, but yeah,
for sure. I think just perseverance and putting that faith there. I think that's for sure important for me to remember. And like almost being done with school, I think that applies to, or
yeah,
I don't know, kind of anything, but gospel related or not.
it's
I
just like
think there's applications for that.
yeah, it's just like things might be rough and they might be frustrating. Like it is perfect for school because I feel like I've been in school forever. I'm like this is never gonna end, but now I'm at the point where I'm getting closer and closer, and I'm like, okay, it's gonna work out, and it's all gonna be worth it when I have my degree.
For
So,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah, man, I've been in school since 2007. And
man,
so I've been banking on that whole idea for a long time.
yeah, man, it's gonna be
But but
awesome.
but now that it's close, it's like for some reason is even like harder to keep that perspective. I just like want to give up and be done.
Yeah, and that's kind of funny too, is because I've noticed that in like my drive as well. Is the last 30 minutes are always the hardest.
Hmm.
The last half hour, it's like I've been in the car for 7 hours, and I'm these kids are just driving me crazy back there. But And I think that's just kind of what Satan kind of tries to do to us. He wants us to not. He's like banking on us not making it. So the last half hour, the last 3 months of school or whatever, he's
Right.
gonna make you feel like you can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Right on, man.
cool, man. Yeah.
Well, thanks for that. What do you think about the case?
I thought this one was like it was more interesting than the other ones. Some of the other ones. I thought there was a lot of things that were going on. Like they got rid of a ton of people, and so they're just kind of working through this thing. And I think that's what it's all about. Sometimes I think they have good opportunities in front of them, or they wouldn't be even trying to pursue this anymore.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't realize that Keurig had been around for that long.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. That was kind of surprising to me as well.
Like I have only known about them for like, I don't know, the past maybe 4 or 5, 3, 4 years, you know?
Yeah,
So,
I thought they were a newer brand, but yeah, it's like they've been around forever.
um, well, so looking at like the instructions, like, and I don't know if you read that, it was under the, like the weekly update thing for the class, but like, I guess what we were supposed to do, which is kind of hard since it's just you and me, but what we're supposed to do is like take sides and have a discussion, I think, for like the first half.
Okay.
Like one being Green Mountain and one being Keurig, and from like that perspective or point of view, and kind of argue both of their sides, but I don't really.
Maybe we just talk about, I don't know, yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. Because when I was reading this, I was like, what the heck?
I was kind of
What's this
confused
even
by this
talking about?
case. Well, yeah. So from my understanding, isn't it Green Mountain Coffee Roasters the one who's looking at like acquiring or partnering with Keurig?
Yeah, and I believe what they're trying to do is they're going to take over like a bunch of stuff and pretty much Keurig's going to get a royalty.
For the K cups.
Yeah.
But that was on the premise, right? That they were only gonna make the K cups from GM. What's the acronym? GMCR, Green Mountain Coffee Roasters. They were only gonna make those K cups, so it would kind of like monopolize that product. Um, I don't know if they decided on doing that or not, but like I think they at least had talked about that. What was kind of confusing to me is like the OCS distributors. It said there was like the kind of like the sales people that would come around, and I mean, granted, this is like
Yeah.
20 years ago,
Yeah.
but would come around and set up one of those in offices and what? So they would do it for free, but then they were required to buy coffee from Keurig. Is that how you understood it?
Yeah. Yeah, that's how I understood it. They were trying to find where that is.
It says on page 3, the U.S. office segment generated 2.6 billion in retail sales, approximately 1,700 small, regionally focused office coffee service distributors service this channel, typically purchasing brewers from an appliance manufacturer for approximately $400, then providing them free of charge to offices in exchange for a coffee supply contract. Like, I don't know what that means. Like an office,
Yeah.
free of charge offices?
So they're going to provide free of charge to offices in exchange for a coffee supply.
Oh, never. I'm retarded. I thought they were gonna get like never mind. I
No, you're
I
good.
I thought they were somehow exchanging like office space. It's like what?
Yeah,
I read that way wrong.
you're good. So they're gonna pretty much give these out to these offices, and they're just gonna pay for a contract to have their coffee there.
Um, yeah,
So what I think is like interesting is like I think the deal that they make for these K cups, like it's a pretty good deal, but just depending ultimately on like what the royalty is going to be. Because I think that the Green Mountain, they're taking like a lot off their plate. They're going to end up taking a lot off their plate and pretty much almost just manage this whole thing. But it just depends on what royalty they're going to get. So I think that was like would have been one of the main focuses of negotiation is like what I mean, well, what kind of royalty do you think they should be given?
you're talking about uh Green Mountain
Yeah,
or
Green Mountain to Keurig, right?
um
Maybe I messed up on this case because this case I thought it was interesting, but at the same time I didn't think it was like I feel like other cases you get way more information. And this one I
yeah.
feel like I got a ton of information from them. I mean, just the reading part alone was only like
S-
6 pages.
Yeah.
So when I saw just that the reading part would be just 6 pages, I was like pumped. But then I'm like, I'm kind of lost.
Yeah, right. That's how I felt with it. Um So I think, yeah, so on right before the conclusion, it says partnering with Keurig would be consistent with GMCR's multi-channel strategy, which sought to expose consumers to the GMCR brand in one setting so that they would be more likely to purchase it in another. So, like, I think that's one of the reasons they're marketing in that way, where they get some, like, I don't know, I don't know. If I see that at the grocery store and they use that at the office and I really like it, like maybe I'll buy their beans in the grocery store.
Yeah.
Um, so
And so I think I, I, from what I was thinking, I think their royalty per cup was like 12 cents.
um well I think so it said that their average what they would sell them for is approximately like 50 cents per cup, and there
Yeah.
was about a 25% margin on that, but that it didn't factor in depreciation on like the packaging machinery. And I think that that might have been what I'm trying to find it, what the 12 cents was. said Keurig anticipated that the direct cost of the coffee, packaging materials, and production line labor would be 13 cents per K cup, which did not include the amortization of the packaging line equipment. Blah blah blah. Keurig management projected that these costs would average 6 cents, no, 0.06 cents. Per cup in the first year or two after launch, but the thought that fulfillment costs would decline as the company added more whatever. Anyway, so if you look at it, if it's 13 cents plus, it's actually just 6 cents, not 0.06. So it's 19 cents. So I don't know why they're I don't know if that's factored into the 25% margin. I don't know what's included into that. Because if they have 19 cents right there plus the 25% margin, or going up against the 25% margin, that means they're making 6 cents per cup.
Yeah.
Plus, Keurig would receive a per cup royalty, and licenses such as GMCR would incur the direct, expected to average 12 cents per cup, slightly less than Keurig's equivalent cost for a True North cup. So they're expecting that the royalty that they're going to get is about the same as what it costs to make.
So really?
Oh, maybe I'm thinking too much. So if the expected average per cup royalty is 12%, and the coffee packaging material and production line labor was 13 cents, that is 50 or 25 cents. So maybe that's where the figure that they're using above is coming from. So, well, why would they factor in a royalty? Because Keurig is receiving the royalty, not Green Mountain.
And so I think what's going to happen is Green Mountain's going to do like most of the work as far as packaging and everything. And so all they say is, well, because of this, and you're selling our stuff, pretty much, we just want a royalty on what you sell.
So Keurig wants a royalty on what Green Mountain Coffee sells.
Yeah, I think so. And
Keurig, I don't know, because it's saying above, like, Keurig would produce the True North branded K-Cups in its own facilities on packaging lines expected to cost $700,000, have a 5-year depreciation life. And output from each packaging line would support 1,500 brewers. So we also got to remember the brewings. Maybe that's, yeah, this case is not my favorite.
Yeah. Let's see. So on page 5, they said that they're exploring this alternative plan, licensing roasters who would make and sell K-Cups under their own brands, preferably on a non-exclusive basis. Keurig would receive a per cup royalty and licenses such as GMCR would incur all direct costs, expected to average 12 cents per cup, slightly less than the Keurig's equivalent cost for a True North cup. So what I think they're doing is they're saying, you guys are cool to make these K-Cups and go out and sell them, but basically you would need to give us a per cup royalty.
And that's what Keurig is saying.
Yeah, to all these places. And so the thing is that like what it's saying here is GMCR would take all the direct costs. So I'm assuming, all the production and whatnot. And then they're expected to average 12 cents per cup. So, and I think that's in royalty. But I could be wrong on that part. But I know that they're looking into this alternative plan where these other licensed roasters can sell their cups, but they just need some money from that. And so if that's the case,
what about the whole what about the brewers though?
I'm not sure.
That's so right above the paragraph you were just talking about, that's where it talks about the Lazarus was also considering alternatives to the founder's original plan to sell True North K-Cups. Under the True North plan, Keurig would purchase coffee from a premium roaster under a private label agreement. Keurig would produce True North branded K-Cups in its own facilities on packaging lines. Boom.
So he's like stuck between a couple plans. So this plan that I'm talking about is a totally different plan.
So how many plans are there?
I think there's just a couple. I think there's either pretty much we produce them ourselves and just go and sell them. But that's probably what it's saying is it would cost us 13 cents per
to sell the cups.
To sell the cup, and they're saying, but if we do this other plan right here, it'll cost just 12 cents. But the thing is they're not saying they're trying to get rid of all their costs. And so they're saying, you guys can go out and sell these, but just give us a royalty. And so that's what they're saying is they're like pretty much telling them. And the first plan, it's like, we'll do all the work. And the second plan, it's like, you'll do all the work, but you're still going to pay us a royalty.
Yeah. And maybe some of the stuff from before was like in their trials when they were trying to put those like really expensive machines in the offices, and I think that's kind of just like nonsensical stuff to try to like navigate through,
Yeah.
So with the conclusion, it asks those questions: royalty per cup, how much? Who pays for packaging lines? What if GMCR wants exclusivity? What if GMCR wants equity in Keurig?
So, and that's where the negotiations come in because.
So I think okay, so maybe that makes. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no, you're good.
Well, so maybe that's what it is. So Keurig's still going to make their brewer, and they're trying to figure out how to. I mean, obviously they want like a hand up on the K-Cups, and if it makes sense for other people to produce them, they can pawn that off. They'll still sell the brewers. Green Mountain Coffee's going to manufacture the K-Cups. Is that right?
But the thing is Keurig doesn't want the Green Mountain to be the exclusive person doing this. So they're open to other licensed roasters to be able to sell and make the
Gotcha.
And so,
But Green Mountain wants to be exclusive because that's what they were saying about like promoting their brand like at the grocery store or in coffee shops whenever they see that brand now because they have
exclusivity.
the K cups, they're thinking they're gonna get more
And
business.
so, yeah, that's where the negotiation comes on because Keurig's like, we'd rather be able to do this with multiple companies because you got to think about the royalties they can get if they do it with a ton of different companies. And so, yeah. So now they're just trying to figure that out.
Okay. Well, so what do you think about, I guess, can you hang on a quick second? I gotta go to the bathroom real quick.
Oh, no, you're good.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, so that's like the tough part of the negotiation, I think, is deciding if they would give GMCR the exclusivity.
Yeah, I agree. What are your thoughts?
I'm kind of on the fence because, like, in some ways, like that kind of partnership is really good for a company. In other ways, I don't know if it's as good. In this situation, I'm not sure if it is as good to just give one company exclusivity, just because I think there's a lot of opportunity to use a ton of different companies because really you're just trying to spread as far and wide as you can with these K cups and get the royalties from it.
For sure. No, and I can understand like maybe the appeal to that for Keurig. Like they got turned down in that one round of financing. They haven't, because their machine wasn't working. Like it doesn't sound like their office trials have been like super successful. I mean, they're still trying to figure out another way to do things. So I mean, I guess ultimately I think they're looking for something else. You know, which I mean, essentially, I'm just saying like they're in a position where they need to make a deal, and having a deal with some type of like having any type of deal, I think is at this point for them like they're gonna find appealing. And again, this is kind of similar to the whole that Skyhook case when we're able to kind of like see how that product or that technology has unfolded and how like widely utilized and applicable it is to society today. And so maybe that's kind of part of my part of my reasoning, but I would say not to do the exclusivity. Because think about, I've never heard of Green Mountain Coffee Roasters, um, but think about how many types of coffee Keurig's make. I mean, I'm pretty sure you can get it in pretty much every brand from what I was looking at. At pretty much every brand, and as well as teas, and I think you can get like hot chocolate, like if
you can get just about anything.
just about anything. And so if like sleepy time tea, like there's so much more than that, and you've got to think that every one of those deals that that gets made with Keurig, like they're making buku bucks, you know. And so like that all being said, I could also appreciate being in a position where you need to have some capital, you need to cut a deal, like maybe you're not totally sold or totally like understand the value in your product. And I mean, obviously that's hard without having any success with it thus far, because it's new. And so I don't know, I would say like to steer away from the exclusivity.
Yeah, I agree. I just think, yeah, and I bet they probably did, because when I used to work at Bed Bath and Beyond in the shipping area, and they sell all those coffees and all those, and it seemed like they had those these K cups, whatever they are, for just about
Everything.
every Dunkin' Donuts, Starbucks,
Oh yeah,
people were selling their own stuff.
for sure.
So, and there had to be the technology of these cups, these single serving coffee things came from someone. So I imagine that's probably Keurig.
Well, it's Keurig, and also maybe a little bit from, it talked about like two other
Yeah,
brands that
there's
have
a
like
couple other, yeah.
tried it in the past and weren't successful doing it. So yeah, and I mean in that regard, it's also similar to the Skyhook, um, thing. Like thinking back, how they maybe had the option to sell that technology and like forego the rights to it. And I mean, with whatever happened with that, like I don't know, but had they done that and like lost their ownership rights to that technology, like they would forego like a lot of opportunity to make money through different applications, um, through different things like that. I don't know if I'm explaining that well. Like they have the technology,
Yeah.
you're motivated, you want to make a deal, so you sell it, and then a couple years later, it's everybody's having to use it. Everybody wants it. Like you have to have it for like your phone or computer or whatever. And it's kind of the same thing with the K cups. Like,
So I think then that's like kind of going into like the number two here, is that's what it's pretty much saying, is this is kind of something that's at stake, is they have something that's so cool and they want to be able to get the right deal for it, because if they get the wrong deal, it could mess them up quite a bit. So they want to make sure they're covering their best interests. And I
for
think that's
sure.
why they're like, no way we want to be exclusive with just one company.
Right. For sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's kind of like Nike saying we'll only give our gear to one school. And
Yeah.
it's just like, no way, because Nike, what do they have? Hundreds of schools that they are the uniform designer for. And because
Right.
of that, everyone sees the logo, the swoosh, and all of a sudden, everyone's wearing Nike gear because their team wears Nike gear.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's kind of the situation that Keurig's in right now.
Yeah, totally. So I guess like there's those questions at the bottom. We kind of answered some of them, but just like real quick, what if GMCR wants equity in Keurig? I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's a better route to go.
I think that's the way you could probably cut a deal with them.
Because maybe then you could forego the exclusivity rights,
Yeah.
but give up some equity, which would also help. This is what I would probably do. Get some equity from GMCR. They're a publicly traded company. They've got a lot of money. They've been around the block. I mean, I don't know what their valuation is at Keurig at this point. But if they were able to raise enough money to forego some equity in order to build this assembly lines to produce the K cups, then that would give GMCR kind of what they're looking for with a little bit of ownership in the company and a little bit of money. You could probably, hopefully use that as a leverage to avoid having to give them like the exclusivity rights. And so I would say like Keurig pays for the packaging lines through the capital raised from GMCR's equity stake.
Yeah, for sure.
That would be my thing. And then I would say, as far as like the royalty per cup, I would say, so if they have a 50% margin on the K cups, I don't know. It would be cool to offset the depreciation of the machinery, which I think they said was
700,000, something like that.
It said the after management projected these costs would average 6 cents per cup.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know if that's reasonable or not. I would even say double that.
Yeah.
Because if you're buying a premium, because here's the other thing. Keurig on its own, under their True North coffee brand, like they don't really have a stake, so if say Starbucks or somebody was to try and sell a K cup, they could probably sell it for more than 50 cents a cup.
Yeah, probably.
So if they're selling it for 75 cents or $1 a cup, then all of a sudden a 12% royalty per cup doesn't sound that bad. And if you do 12%, I don't really understand like the tax side of depreciation, but from what I do know, like it just aromatizes or amortizes the value over the course of however long it's going to last. And so if the machinery lasts 5 years and it costs 6 cents per cup, so that would indicate to me that after the end of 5 years, it would, for all the cups that it produces, the 6 cents per cup would take that depreciation value to zero. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So if you did 12 cents, that would cover the depreciation costs of the current cups, and you could like put that in a fund to pay for new equipment. So at the end of the 5 years, through the royalties you've gotten, you're able to purchase new equipment for the factory. I don't know.
No, I think that sounds good to me.
So, so yeah, that's what I would say. I guess now we can. I mean, we kind of did our own discussion, but like that with the instructions. I don't know how you want to do this, man. And we can do it. We can do it quickly. How
Yeah.
long have we been recording? Like half hour?
I think close to 40 minutes.
Okay. Well, so for the first four questions, what was the tone of the negotiation? What actions did your counterparty take that were particularly effective? Did you walk through a per cup economic analysis? What major points of disagreement did you encounter?
I think we're kind of on the same page.
Well, yeah, with what we were just talking about with the equity and stuff, that's kind of the negotiation. I mean, obviously, GMCR wants the exclusivity and wants equity. Probably doesn't want to manufacture the K cups if they don't have to. I mean, and so if you kind of balance that and give them some equity, retain like exclusivity rights, collect a royalty, it sounds kind of like everyone
Would benefit.
would benefit, but mostly, maybe not everyone fully, but Keurig would still retain the upper hand with being able to
And I think
license that stuff out in the future.
they should have the upper hand in this negotiation too.
Yeah, I agree. I kind of always am rooting or taking that side in these cases.
I mean, they
where
created
it's
it.
For sure.
So, yeah.
Okay, so how important is this negotiation to Keurig? What is at stake? How did you view Keurig's position?
I think either way, they're in a pretty decent position. I mean, they just have to get the product out, and that's the thing they're struggling with. But overall, I think they're in a good spot.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. How important is Keurig's negotiation to GMCR? I wonder how motivated or what their like actual thought or perception. I mean, obviously they want to be a part of this, but I wonder how motivated they are to.
Yeah, and I think that's the hard part is we don't really have anything to gauge their interest other than that they want equity and they want exclusivity.
Yeah.
But to me, I think if you want exclusivity, you want in on this. It's
For
something
sure.
we're highly interested in.
Well, yeah, you're kind of sold on the idea. Yeah, so I wonder if they wanted it bad enough, if Keurig would cut them a deal.
Yeah, that's why I think Keurig probably has the upper hand is because they want exclusivity. They want it pretty bad, but I think that puts Keurig in the driver's seat.
Yeah, I agree. Um, what is the maximum value that could be shared between GMCR and Keurig?
I'm not sure on this stuff. Not sure how to get it. Yeah, I'm not sure. What maximum value?
So that chart at the bottom, Exhibit 3, is pretty helpful.
Three.
But I'm still not seeing. I mean, what's at stake? It says that the industry is a what, like $5.4 billion industry?
Yeah.
I mean, that's essentially like that's what's at stake. I mean, obviously, Green Mountain Coffee doesn't have the 100% market cap on that, but
But I mean, you can invent something that takes over the industry. So
yeah, I just, it would be helpful to know, like, so yeah, Exhibit 3A and 3B. I wish I would have paid more attention to that more or sooner, but
yeah, I know. I'm not sure what their and the other ones like what their walk away and other stuff like that would be either.
yeah.
I'm not sure about this. I'm sure it'd be a heck of a lot.
Well, it says, yeah, I don't know. How much does Keurig earn under True North?
Does that mention it in the? Let's see. Just looking to see if it said anything about it in the income statement. Yeah, I'm not sure. This case made me think that I better be really prepared for the final.
Right. What what is Keurig's walk away? So I think Keurig's walk away is some security, like some
Yeah,
if I mean their business gets validated.
I think a big
Um,
thing of their walkaway is like, well, I mean, they're not going to really need all this machinery if GMCR comes in. So that's kind of factored in. If they leave
yeah,
the deal, then these other places aren't going to make the K cups.
yeah.
So that's kind of theirs.
Um, yeah, and I think they walk away with kind of a, I don't know, proven. I don't know. The validation I think is important. I think the security in the sense that like they have a partner in this where they're not having to front all the capital for the machinery and the K cups and develop all that. Like essentially, if they're getting royalties from GMCR, like they're kind of protected and will be able to keep some cash flow by and not have to do any work really.
Yeah.
And GMCR's walkway is some marketing um for their coffee through the K cups.
Yeah, I mean, that adds great value to their company. And so they could be walking away from a lot.
Yeah. Um what is Zupa?
I've been trying to look it up, but everything I get is from the cafe.
Yeah, right.
So I've been trying to find it. I can't find it because everything is like Zupa's eat a meal. I'm like,
Yeah,
that's not what I'm looking for.
Well,
I'm not sure.
how big of a deal is the exclusivity to both parties?
I think it's a pretty big deal to both of them.
I feel like it would be a bigger deal. I mean, I feel like it would be a bigger deal to GMCR,
Yeah.
where because I don't know, because thinking about it in the minds of Keurig, like they get their machines some marketing and some attention from the K cups. They don't have to manufacture the K cups.
So now these guys are like,
They're making some money. I mean, with the equity in the business, they're getting like essentially like more financing. They've probably got some job security. I mean, that's kind of could be considered. I guess it's not like an exit, but they kind of have a little bit of I don't know. I don't know. They got some attention. And they're earning some money. And so I would imagine in their minds like they're pretty happy. With GMCR, they have some more experience. They have a lot more resources. They could really use this to push their current like large stance in the market even further. So I feel like it would be a bigger deal to them. Like I don't know if Keurig would like have the foresight or understanding to know that they have such a
yeah, that's true.
valuable product, and I don't know why or how they would without having seen the way that things have unfolded, you know?
Yeah, for sure. 100%. I could
So,
see. Yeah, I could see it meaning a little bit more for GMCR.
um, yeah. Do you think we've captured a complete picture of both parties' interests?
I don't know. I think it's hard when you like we're essentially just getting one person's side of the story. So I'd like to see the other side of the story as well,
Yeah.
what they're thinking. So I mean, I think we probably captured it pretty good picture, but I don't know. My mom used to always say there's two sides to every story. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I would agree. I mean, we kind of know what they're I mean, kind of understand from a little bit from both sides, but I mean primarily from the Keurig side, and so I don't know.
yeah, for sure. I think probably we probably understand Keurig a little bit more than we do the other guys.
So word, man.
Cool. Here, let me stop the recording.